Namaste and a big hello to everyone. I'm Dr. Om, a naturopath, a bachelor in naturopathy and yogic sciences. I combine naturopathy, Ayurveda, and medical astrology in my health consultation models. I'm extremely delighted to put this presentation today for the 67th International Conference on Ayurveda and Mind being held at Pennsylvania, USA from the 1st to 4th May 2025. The presentation is on medical astrology and the remedies for mental health. I'm sure this topic will be of great interest and help to all the participants out here who are extensively working in the field of healthcare. Through this presentation, we will understand what are the various components or aspects impacting mental health. What is medical astrology and how can it be used as a tool to better understand the individual's health aspects, especially the mental health? What are the impact of the planets and the planetary energies on mental health? What is mind and how does it get impacted by the various energies working on it? What is some facts and figures about the global wellness industry that is still finding it difficult to cope up with mental health issues? We will try to understand what is the gap and how to be able to fix it. I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting presentation. So let's go over and find out what's the knowledge of medical astrology going to help us with in securing a better health solution, especially the mental health solution for our clients. Now, let me quickly walk you through the presentation on medical astrology and how it can help secure mental health, how certain remedies can help improvise the mental health. But first, let's start with understanding of what is mental health. Now, as per WHO, it defines mental health as the state of well-being in which the individuals are able to understand and cope up with the day-to-day stresses in their life. They know what are their capabilities and how they can qualitatively contribute to the society by working well and also learning through their experiences. While Ayurveda defines mental health as a state of balance, sambhava, it is about the harmony of the manas, wherein the three gunas, the gunas of sattva, rajas, tamas, are in perfect balance. Of late, mental health is being witnessed as a matter of great concern, and the statistics around the world are really astonishing for the fact that 1 in every 8 people is considered to be some way having one or the other mental issue, be it anxiety or depression or such disorders are becoming so rampant, and everyone's life is somehow being affected by the individuals being affected, some of the family members of the people. If they are suffering from mental health, then indirectly their life is also impacted. Seeing your loved one going through certain mental issues and you not being able to help them also makes your own life go haywire. So now, having seen that the quantity of people coping with mental health issues is increasing, is something being done about it? Or you think the mental health is being ignored? Well, not exactly. And looking at how the industries related to mental health and wellness are flourishing with the market growth of double figures, astonishingly having a robust business. I believe that mental health should have also been getting some better shape. But incidentally, that is not the case. It is seen to be further increasing, and by the next 10 years, the size of the mental health market is expected to be reaching to about 600 billion US dollars, which is a matter of serious concern. Most of the mental health issues start up with the simple word like stress. Now, stress is such a common word and is totally so relatable in everyone's life that small things in everyone's life bring up stress, be it the stress at work, your boss yelling at you, or you not being able to cope up with certain deadlines causes stress. Your husband or wife having certain arguments or some relationship issues causes stress. Children at school are even also feeling stress of studies, of also the peer pressure, coping up with their teachers or expectations on their score sheet causes stress. Financial issues, the money matters, the currency fluctuations around the world, the diverting economies in the world or their own country, the political situations. There is hardly a time when we are not impacted by stress. And this stress, in turn, is causing issues like anxiety, depression, or lack of sleep, also causing some issues with self confidence and losing the entire purpose of life. That definitely is somewhere stealing the quality of one's existence and the whole purpose of what we can achieve out of our human life. The studies on the mental health market forecast reveal some very interesting facts. They suggest that there's a good percentage of people around the world that seek emergency mental health services. This is quite astonishing. An even astonishing fact is that more than 53% of the world's population that need mental health support belongs to the adults, followed by children. And the least on this pie chart, as you can see, belongs to the category of old age personnel. So the fact that even despite going through the old age health issues, people are able to maintain good mental health. And it is our youth, the adults, and the children who are at a greater risk of mental health issues. This is despite the fact that in the present day market, there are so many applications and gadgets and services available around providing solutions towards mental health. These applications or services claim to address all the internal and external aspects that help support the mental health. But yet, there is still a big gap, and people needing mental health support are on an increase. So, what is the missing link? Are we still ignoring mental health? No, of course, no one wishes to, but there is a vital missing link to focus. And that link is knowing the self, the knowledge of the self, the need to understand the self. And that is offered by the Vedic traditional wisdom that we have. We will discuss about it as we progress in this presentation. Our quest for understanding mental health and knowing the self cannot be accomplished unless we understand what is mind. Now, mind, as explained by the modern science, is a cognitive faculty that helps to perceive, it helps to understand and be able to think and make judgments about right or wrong. It helps to create memories and experience emotions, whether good or bad. While our Vedic texts, like Bhagavad Gita, has explained the importance of mind, and in the verse 6 of chapter 6, it is explained that for those who conquered the mind, it is a friend. And for those who have failed to do so, the mind works as an enemy. This is exactly what we are experiencing in the present day world. And most of the mental health issues are because of the fact that we are converting or letting our mind to act as an enemy for us. The whole essence of Bhagavad Gita can be summarized in this small phrase which says, Man hi karta, man hi bhokta. The mind, it's the manas, the man, that is the doer, karta. Man is the one that does certain actions, and man hi bhogata means man is the one that experiences the consequences of those actions. It is exactly what we are facing, as I said, in the present day world, that we are engaging into wrong actions, and as a result, we are getting wrong consequences or results out of those actions. And in the whole process, we are experiencing mental health issues. If we got to understand this, our life will be much easier. Acharya Maharishi Charak has also explained in Charak Sangita that mind is the one that observes and coordinates the sense organs and the sensory objects. So mind is not a physical organ. It is a subtle entity or faculty in the human body. And mind, it uses the brain as an instrument to function in the physical world. While mind is the one that coordinates between the brain and the heart, and it is the one that sort of controls the function of brain and heart. So the importance of understanding what is the role of mind in our life is very important. And through that, we can actually make the quality of our own life improve to a much higher level. While modern medicine does acknowledge the connect between brain, heart, and the mind, but incidentally, even today, the patient is considered dead when its brain function or the heart function is damaged beyond recovery. But how about mind dead? I'm sure I'm throwing a very controversial and thought-provoking word here, but think about it. I have always been wondering about the quality of the life of those individuals whose mind function is not to the level that they can understand their purpose in life and enjoy a good quality life. Fortunately, our Ayurvedic texts and also astrology has addressed these issues ages before, and they have addressed the manovikar and also suggested remedies and measures to fix those mental issues through the natural means. We as doctors need to understand, we as health givers, caretakers, have to understand the wisdom that is there present in our ancient texts and use those knowledge to improve the quality of our patients. This brings us to the topic of medical astrology. Now, medical astrology is a branch of astrology, which is a traditional system that links the movement or the position of the celestial bodies, and that impacts the various aspects of human health. In the olden days, when a child was born, A horoscope or the Vedic astrological chart used to be drawn to understand how the trajectory of the life for that individual would run. A Vedic astrological chart, it has 12 houses, 12 zodiac signs, and 9 planets. Sun and moon are also considered as planets in the Vedic astrology. So, including the sun and moon, along with Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, and Rahu and Ketu, there are a total of 9 planets, and the influences of these planetary energies, along with the zodiac and the houses in which they are placed, used to give the insights about natives' physical, mental, emotional well-being all through their life, even the financial aspects of their life and marital and all the aspects of human were assessed from the insights from the Vedic astrological chart. Also, analyzing the birth chart, one could gain knowledge about what are the potential health issues that the individual may face, and even predicting about their timing and impact. And accordingly, the remedies were recommended. Each of these 12 houses, 12 zodiac signs, and the planets represent different parts of the human body. The physical body can be seen from each of these houses. Every house, starting from the first house to the 12th house, and also every zodiac from Aries to the Pisces, represents certain parts of the human body. And certain planetary placements can indicate the potential of certain health issues that the individual may exhibit during its lifetime. Medical astrology helps to analyze these planetary positions and their energies, dwelling into the root cause of the diseases and the imbalances that the individual may have to face, and also accordingly, then the remedial measures can be suggested. Some of the key planetary influences on mental health. Let's first understand about Moon, which is the most important planet. Although every planet have their own impact on the mental health as well, but Moon is one of the key planets to be studied when we talk about mental health, because Moon represents mind, emotions, memory, and also the good placement of Moon indicates healthy mental stability. Afflictions or the weaknesses in the placement of planet Moon can lead to lunatic disorders like bipolarity, schizophrenia, or hallucinations, mood swings, anxiety, depression. In fact, the term lunatic disorders that is widely used in the medical terminology in the modern medicine is getting its name from Luna. Luna in Latin means the moon. So that is how even the influence or the importance of moon is accepted by even the modern medicine. Next, let's talk about Sun. Now, Sun is a planet that represents self-esteem, the self-identity, or the clarity or the purpose in life. Sun represents the soul of the individual. So if the Sun is weak, the person may exhibit low confidence, low morale, lack of purpose in life. He may be confused and thus will not be able to make right decisions. Likewise, an overly dominating sun in the chart can make the person unreasonable, too commanding or rigid, not willing to understand the other person's viewpoint can make him also very egocentric. Next, let's understand Mercury. Now, Mercury is a planet that represents intellect, buddhi. It also governs our communication, our speech. So, how wisely do we communicate with the other people is also somewhere governed by the good placement of Mercury. Mercury also represents nerves and the nervous system. So, weak Mercury can cause tendencies towards overthinking or random thinking or uncontrolled thinking. Also can lead to confusion and indecisiveness, issues and disorders like OCD or ADHD are also linked with the poor placement of Mercury. Likewise, Saturn is also an important planet to study the mental health. Saturn generally represents discipline, the idea of being determined in life, to be adhering to certain discipline in the lifestyle is a given by Saturn. Saturn represents fear and also some deep-seated psychological issues. A challenged or weak Saturn can also lead to depression and some deep-seated fears and phobias. The guilt feeling or the chronic worries is also coming from the poor placement of Saturn. Rahu and Ketu are also very important when it comes to understanding the mental health, because Rahu and Ketu represent the north and the south nodes of the moon. While Rahu represents the desire and obsession, ambition, or material entanglement, Ketu is considered to be the one responsible for giving a sense of detachment or withdrawal or seclusion. It is initially giving the individual a sense of obsession, but eventually can lead to dire detachment. Even the personality issues like OCD or obsessive disorders is somewhere linked with Rahu and Ketu. All the psychological issues and traumas conditions are somewhere linked with the placement of Rahu or the influence of Rahu or Ketu over Moon and the other planets. The influence of Rahu and Ketu brings in the tendencies towards intoxication. Especially Rahu makes the person attached towards intoxication and sometimes even addiction, which ultimately leads to mental issues. But the person may feel highly obsessed towards it and does not have the sense of righteousness. So there is no mental control that he can bring over these bad habits and ultimately ends up suffering. Now, when we talk about afflictions or certain combinations of the planetary influences that are challenging, we bring in the word called malefic. Malefic planets are the ones that bring in challenges in the life of an individual, and Mars, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu are considered to be pure malefics in the Vedic astrology. Now, it is important to understand here that the purpose of these planets is not to really harm us or bring in difficulties and make our life miserable. But the main purpose is to, in fact, learn lessons and evolve as a better being. But most of us end up falling a prey to these scenarios and later end up blaming the planets. Combinations like Moon Rahu, Moon Ketu, or Moon Saturn, Moon Mars does bring a lot of personality issues related to mental health. Similarly, the combinations of Mercury with these malefics also can bring in a lot of challenges in the individual's personality related to self-control and mental behavior. But again, these are actually the areas for where the individual needs to focus and improve rather than complaining or believing that these planets are there to pose difficulties in their lives. These are the areas of improvement for the person, and that is what needs to be understood clearly. In terms of houses, the houses that need to be studied for mental health include first, fourth, fifth, sixth, eighth, and the 12th house. Although all the houses are important to be studied when we are reading a chart, but these particular houses, they are of prime importance because the first house, for example, represents brain and individual's overall personality. Fourth house governs our emotions and our mind. Fifth house also represents intelligence and the sense of creativity and mindset, the ultimate thought process. Sixth house is the one that determines the sense of responsibility towards daily routine and discipline in one's life, which ultimately impacts the overall well-being. Eighth house is indicating certain chronic issues. And 12th house is the house of isolation or hospitalization, the people who have the tendencies towards withdrawal or the depressive tendencies. These are all also seen from the influence of 12th house. And afflictions in these houses or their governing lords by the impact of Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, and Mars, or the weak moon or Mercury, often poses lunatic disorders in person's life. Certain planetary combinations, conjunctions, or the yogas, as it is called in the Vedic or medical astrology, if present in one's chart, definitely indicates firm tendencies towards mental health issues, and the person can be cautioned against those in one's life, especially during certain transits of planets or during the Mahadashas or Antardashas of certain planets. These combinations or yogas, namely Unmad Yoga or Grahan Yoga or Hemadrum Yoga or Grahan Yoga, Chandra Grahan, these are certain combinations that are there, if they're in the chart, can bring in issues or complications towards mental health. Now, having realized that there are certain tendencies towards such mental issues in one's chart, shouldn't cause them be fearful about it. Rather, it is just an additional information to be more or better informed about how to prepare themselves and how to safeguard themselves, how to not fall a prey to those challenging situations in their life, and rather be mentally and physically prepared to overcome those challenges and evolve as a better being. This is the main objective of doing certain consultations. If time permitted, I would have loved to actually share some of the charts, but unfortunately, that will make this presentation get too long. Now we want to quickly go over the remedies or some measures that we can adopt after once we have understood certain challenges that are possible from the planetary placements in one's chart. Then how can one actually be better prepared to deal with them, to adopt certain holistic and integrative approach towards securing mental health? The first and foremost being the lifestyle and behavior. Now, it is definitely a given that if you have a tendency of getting up early before the sunrise, the Brahma Muhurta, This is the most pious time where the Sattva Guna is at the peak, and all what we practice during this time, that's the Brahma Muhurta, for example, daily meditations or pranayam, they have a long-lasting impact on our health. Also, things like reduced social media exposure or being selective about the information ingestion that we are exposed to these days, that can help a great deal in preventing ourselves from mental turmoils. Also, being very clear about our daily goals, being planned in our daily practice can help. We should make sure to get exposed to sunlight, especially the early rising sun's light can help cleanse our aura and provide a lot of mental clarity. Next, what comes on the list here is the food habits. There's a saying in Hindi that goes like, Jaisa an, vaisa man. Now, Jaisa an means the food that we eat, and man means the manas. So, the food that we eat is definitely impacting our manas. So when we eat sattvic food, the food which is fresh, which is pranic, which is high on pranic energy, which is fresh, local, and seasonal, that will definitely provide the nourishment not only to our physical body, but to all our five bodies. We should avoid the intake of caffeine or sugar or processed foods, which are definitely not pranic foods at all, and they are going to remain as ama in our body, which is ultimately the cause of all mental or other physical issues. Inclusion of ghee or soaked almonds, they are providing nourishment to our brain and providing also good ojas, mental resilience and flexibility. Inclusion of herbs like tulasi, ashwagandha, brahmi, shankapushpi, shatavari helps in providing calmness to our nerves and then helping to reduce the stress. Herbal teas, concoctions are also a great way to induce some natural calming agents in our daily consumption. Astrological measures like doing special prayers for certain planets, doing mantra chanting, and also following certain rituals like showing or lighting sesame oil lamps on Saturdays, especially, helps to pacify Saturn or reduce the challenges that Saturn might pose in our life. Meditations or staying away from intoxications, for example, can help reduce the influences of Rahu and Ketu. Likewise, doing Surya Namaskar is a great way to increase the sun's energy and also find the soul's purpose and clarity in one's life. Moon, we can offer the water or the milk to moon during the full moon and also fast on Mondays. Spend time under moonlight. These are some of the measures that we can adopt and include in our daily or monthly rituals, and these can ensure good mental health. Astrology is knowingness, and knowingness is power. That's why I call medical astrology as a pathway to empowerment. Empowerment of the self through the knowledge of the self. When we are empowered, we can ensure health and healthy life for ourselves and for our loved ones. Through that, we can actually build up healthy nations. From the timely astrological insights, we can actually change our weaknesses into our strength. This can build our life to the right direction, and we can reach much higher purposes in life. I hope you find this compilation simple and easy to understand, and yet interesting and useful. My main purpose behind putting this presentation was to help you understand that astrology is not merely an old school thought process. It is not also a blind faith. It is very scientific and very relatable, especially when it comes on the energy concept. Medical astrology, especially, is a great tool to help in the diagnostic field, and it is being used also already in India extensively to establish the real diseases or the health issues that the patient is going through. Astrology helps to explore the personalities and also understand their body constitutions, even from an Ayurvedic concept. And that helps the doctors to frame the treatment modalities. I wanted to share this piece of information with this set of audience that is here in this conference. And I'm so grateful to Dr. Shekhar and the organizers of this conference to have provided me the opportunity to speak and share my knowledge in this field. I wish all the participants and the organizers a great success for the future. And if there were anything that I could be of help, my contact details are available here. You can feel free to contact me anytime. Good luck and take good care of yourself. Thank you.